Right then, guys. So I think that this is a very big topic. Is Canelo Alvarez's hype dying, or is it completely gone? And nah, to be fair, I wouldn't say it's completely gone, but it's going down. It's dying, in my opinion, because this week is Canelo's another Canelo fight week. He will be fighting Jaime Munguia this week, and overall, I think that the fight is very fascinating and that it is going to be a good fight. But who's hyped for it though? Who's actually hyped? The build-up's been non-existent to this fight, literally non-existent. These months that it's been announced, what's happened? No one There's different. There's a difference between it all being a good, solid, respectful build-up, and then to there being absolutely nothing to this fight whatsoever. And to this fight, there's been absolutely nothing to it whatsoever, in my opinion. Like overall, I look at Canelo's box rack here, and we go down the list, starting from his most recent fight, which was Jamel Charlo. Who was really, really, really hyped up for this fight? I wasn't. And the reason for it is because Canelo was the obvious winner. The build up to the fight was all right. It was decent. But again, it's just like we knew who the winner would be. Canelo was fighting someone who was like 3 weights below him, which I don't think that, it was obviously not exactly going to be a great fight. And Jamel Charlo, he's extremely inactive. So again, there were so many reasons why not to be hyped for that fight. And the fight proved it as well. Jamel Charlo was literally not trying whatsoever, and Canelo was just able to, beat him down for 12 rounds, but still wasn't able to get the guy out of there. It was a disappointing one, in my opinion. And the hype just in the build-up, it was all right, but it was like, there just wasn't that usual Canelo fight week hype because the winner was obvious there. And then we go and we look at the John Ryder Canelo fight, who, honestly, it was just there for a homecoming for Canelo. Again, it's another fight which that didn't feel like a Canelo fight week at all. It's not a fight that I was hyped for whatsoever. And the winner was obvious. And it showed in the fight. Canelo couldn't even get John Ryder out of there, even though John Ryder's really tough. But again, Canelo should have got him out of there. The hype, it just went down after it, because it's like it wasn't really an entertaining fight, same as the Charlo one. So 2 fights in a row, which people were expecting nothing from. Nothing big happened in them anyway. So yeah, and the hype in the build up for the John Ryder one, it was basically non-existent, if we're being honest here. People you have people like Eddie Hearn trying to hype up John Ryder, saying he's this, saying he's that, and that he's got a big chance of winning, but no. Then we got and then before that we got the Triple G Trilogy fight, which, let's be real, it's like the thing with that one is there was slightly hype there. But again, we knew who the winner would be. I was excited for it. I was rooting for Triple G. But because, the thing is, though, we knew it would be a good fight. But again, it's like Canelo was coming off a loss to Bivol. So in a way, it just didn't have the same effect as it usually did. And also the fact that Canelo was fighting a 40-year-old Triple G who looked a little bit who looked quite rusty in his previous fight, and Golovkin wasn't exactly up against the most amazing competition going into that one. And looking at the scorecards here, I honestly can't believe they were that close. But yeah, again, the hype, it was like he's fighting 40-year-old Triple G, but Triple G's a legend of the sport anyway, and no matter what, Triple G's always going to be hard to get out of there. So and Canelo put in a masterclass performance, but again, it's like 40-year-old Triple G, a bit quite inactive in previous years, and had a rusty performance in its return. Then we go to the Dimitri Bivol fight. Yeah, there was hype there. I think that's the most recent fight for Canelo that I was hyped up for. The build-up was literally non-existent to the fight, though. It was literally nothing going on there. But I was hyped because, I was thinking it's going to be interesting because Canelo's moving up in weight. Let's see how he performs at light heavyweight. And this was a big fight that Canelo could possibly lose, which he ended up doing in the end. He lost. So, there was hype there because there was always that danger of him losing when he moved up the weight. And looking at the scorecards here, appalling stuff. Should have been way wider in Bivol's favour. And then, I'll stop in a minute going through the fights. But yeah, then we got Caleb Plant. Look, we were excited for that one, of course. Big undisputed fight, so we were looking forward to it. I think it was undisputed, or it was either a unification. I think it was undisputed. But yeah, that was a fight I was hyped for, and their build-up was so good as well for that one. So it got us even more hyped. That's the most recent fight for Canelo, which I've been extremely hyped up for. The Caleb Plant fight, because there was a build-up. Caleb Plant was there to hype up the fight with it. Two unbeaten guys going at it at the time. Not unbeaten. Caleb Plant unbeaten. Canelo hadn't lost in years since. His only loss was to Mayweather. And, the hype was there. It was for all the gold in the division. And the hype was there for that one. The build-up was fantastic. Then we got Billy Joe, that one. Yeah, hype was there for that one. Then we got Yildirim. No one cared. But, yeah, I feel like the most recent one, which I feel like a lot of us had a lot of hype for, was the Caleb Plant one. Bivol, there was slightly some there. Triple G, there was slightly some there. John Ryder, non-existent. And Jamal Charlo, non-existent, really. How do we get Canelo's hype back, though, is the big thing. How do we... Because recently, Canelo fight weeks have not been feeling like Canelo fight weeks from what they used to be. How do we get that back? First of all, well, we know this fight this weekend is going to be good, but we want to see him fight Benavidez. I feel like Canelo should have fought Benavidez on this date. 4th of May was a perfect date to do it. A big Vegas main event. Like, I'd rather see Canelo and Canelo and Benavidez in Vegas than in Saudi. It just feels better. Canelo and Benavidez in Vegas going at it, big fight night, and there'll be so much hype around it because it's an unpredictable fight. Benavidez is a massive threat to Canelo. So if that happens, it's a threat. But I feel like, in a way, Canelo's ruining his own hype in a way because, he's not taking that Benavidez fight. That's one we want to see. And that's it. It's just ridiculous if Canelo doesn't take it. But it looks like Benavidez is now bored and is moving up in weight because he thinks Canelo's ducking, which Canelo's giving clear signs of. Because then after this, there's talks of Canelo going on and fighting Jamal Charlo. Who wants to bloody see that? Inactive Jamal Charlo going at it against Canelo. Who actually wants to watch that fight? I don't. I don't think anyone does. Again, Canelo ruining his own hype by wanting to take that fight after this one. Like, yes, in ways, this Munguia one makes sense. It makes sense it's a good fight, but there's not hype there in the build-up. Jamal Charlo, yes, the build-up would be all right, but no one would care because the winner's obvious. Who's going to be hyped for a fight where the winner's just obvious in that one? No one. But look, I also think another fight, now a good fight for Canelo, which could make sense and we get people excited, is Terence Crawford. I personally think Canelo would be too big for Crawford, but, obviously I mentioned about Jamal Charlo being too small, which he is, but you've got Crawford, who's a monster, though. That's the thing. There's a difference between Terence Crawford and Jamal Charlo having a fight with Canelo. There's a difference there to it. And, you guys all know, like, Crawford, big threat. He's actually an active fighter who's an elite fighter and pound for pound number one. And then he could be going up against pound for pound number two, arguably pound for pound number one, Canelo. So that fight makes all the sense in the world. It's exciting. So, two fights to get Canelo's hype back up there are Terence Crawford and Benavidez. Not Jamal Charlo. Don't go with that fight. There's also rumors of possibly, a Belonga fight I've heard, but, there's not really any hype to that one there either. Two fights, Crawford, Benavidez. Get what those ones done, Canelo, and then you can bloody do what you want. But, you've got to take these big fights. I know it's on Canelo's time. He does what he wants. He's a legend of the game, of course. But let's be real. He's got to fight Benavidez and Terence Crawford if he wants to get his hype back up there. Because right now, I don't really care too much about Well, no, I'll take that. I do care about his fights because this one's exciting, but the hype to it, it just doesn't get you excited. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, King. I'll speak to you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.